Hello everybody. Today we're going to be learning about angles. What is an angle? An angle is a measurement of a turn, and we measure that in degrees, and this is the sign for degrees. There are 360 degrees in a full turn, so if you stand up, turn all the way around back to the beginning, you have turned 360 degrees. You can find out the size of an angle using a protractor. So on these pictures here, you can see the angles, the turn, the gap there that you could measure with the protractor. Angles have special names depending on their size. Do you know what these words mean? Right angle, obtuse, acute, and reflex. Do you know how many degrees are in a right angle, an obtuse angle, an acute angle, and a reflex angle? If we put the angles in order of size, we have acute, which is the smallest, less than 90 degrees, a right angle, which is equal to 90 degrees, obtuse angle greater than 90 degrees, and a reflex angle greater than 180 degrees. You can see then that the acute angle is the smallest, less than 90 degrees, a right angle is equal to 90 degrees, obtuse angle greater than 90 degrees, and reflex is the biggest, greater than 180 degrees. Let's look at some pictures to see what these angles would look like. So here you can see your little acute angle. A nice way to remember it is that it's small and it's acute, so we've got the word acute. Here is a right angle. I know that you've done a lot of work on those and you will recognise your right angle. Obtuse angle greater than 90 degrees, getting bigger, and a reflex angle greater than 180 degrees, very big. We measure angles with a protractor. Would you know where to put this protractor to measure the angle? Have a think. The thing to keep your eye on is this point here, a bit like a bullseye point, which you need to line up where the two lines meet. Then this straight line on the bottom of the protractor needs to go exactly lined up with this straight line. So let's see that happen. Now we can read the angle. Because we're lined up here, we need to make sure we read from the 0 all the way round to measure this angle. And the angle is 120 degrees. Make sure you start reading from 0 and measure all the way round. If you made a mistake and thought it was 60, you should realise that something is wrong, because this angle is definitely bigger than a right angle. There's the right angle, so the answer must be bigger than 90, and we have an obtuse angle, 120. Where would you put the protractor to measure this angle? Once again, keep your eye on this point, which will go on here where the lines meet. And then we need to straighten up so that the black line is in line with the red. You can see here that this is quite a small angle. Make sure you read from the 0, reading round 40 degrees. Once again, if you made a mistake and got 140, you should realise that this is a small angle, less than 90 degrees, so it's 40 degrees and acute angle. Where would you put your protractor now to measure this angle? Keep your eye here, and then line up nicely. Get the line exactly on. And when we read, we make sure we're starting at 0 and reading around our angle. Now this one is halfway between 110 and 120. So do you know what that will be? It's 115. This is an obtuse angle because it is greater than a right angle at 90. So it's an obtuse angle, 115 degrees. This is a reflex angle. It's very, very big and we're not going to get our protractor around there. Do you know what we need to do? Here's a clue. Remember that the whole circle is 360 degrees. So what we could do is we could measure this angle, which isn't the one we actually want to know, but it will help us. And then if we get 360 degrees, take away this angle that we don't want, and we'll be left with the angle that we need. Let's try that. We're going to measure this little angle then, make sure we start on 0. It's 35. So the calculation we need to do now is 360, and we'll take away 35 to leave us with that big angle. Can you work that out? It's 325 degrees. We need to do the same for this angle. We're going to measure the one we don't actually need and take it away from 360 to find what it is. So this angle we are reading round. Now the 0 is here and reading round it is 150 degrees. So we're going to do 360, take away 150 to get 210. It's an obtuse angle, reflex angle right around the edge, 210 degrees. One more reflex angle for you. So this is our reflex angle. We can't get our protractor around there, it's too big. So we're going to measure this one and then we will do a calculation of 360 degrees, take away whatever this is, leaving us with this one. So you can see that that angle that we don't actually need is 90 degrees. Do you know what calculation we will now do? 360 take away 90. So what will that be? It's 270 degrees. And one more for you. I'm going to measure that smaller angle, which is 120. So what calculation will we need? 360, take away 120, and our big reflex angle that we're left with is 240. To help you think about your learning today, would you know the answers to these questions? Do you know the names of the 4 types of angles? Have a think. There's acute, right angle, obtuse and reflex. Do you know how many degrees are there in a full rotation? 360 degrees. What are the steps to measure an angle using a protractor? You need to put the bullseye part of the protractor where the two lines meet. Put the black line of the protractor lined up on the line. Make sure when you look round you're looking at the scale that begins with 0. Count round. Make sure that your answer makes sense. If it's a small angle, it will be less than 90 degrees. If it's a larger one, more than 90 degrees. And if it's a reflex, greater than 180. How many degrees are there in a straight line? A straight line is made up of 2 right angles. 2 90s are 180. So on a straight line there are 180 degrees.